All right.
Well, welcome back
All
to
right.
Shards and Shenanigans. All right.
All right.
All right. Here we are. Chapter 24 and 25. Kyle, our host,
24.
over here, speaking Espanol. Soy Cristobal. Nice to meet y'all. Let's jump in. You know what I like the best there, Kyle? I like a little comida. You got a snack?
Oh, I do have a snack.
Let's hear it.
So coming in at 24 and gonna follow that up with 25 to end part, I believe, 3 of the book. Yeah. So we're finishing out part 3 here with this recording, and then we'll be jumping into part 4 after this. So super excited, and we're going to start off with a snack. Didn't I feel like learning a lot here, but the Lord Ruler is saying if he ever loses this, then he'll know that he's passed beyond hope of redemption, and he's referencing, his ability to recognize truth and goodness. Which I think he has probably lost sight of, right? So I think he is probably beyond hope and redemption. So sorry about you, Lord Ruler. You fucked it up.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. You ain't it.
Loser. So that's snack time. Snack time's over, and it's time for brunch. 24.
Brunch.
So, Kelsier, we got a Vin perspective, and so we are coming off leaving the ball, the Hastings ball, and we are now at Club Shop, and the whole crew is assembled or going to be assembled here in just a couple minutes. So we're talking Kelsier, we're talking Sazed, we're talking Vin, Ham, Club, Spook. So we got quite the crew here, and like I said, some others are gonna jump in. So everyone's kind of catching up. Hammond and Kelsier and crew, and of course we're getting some good banter back and forth now that the crew is back together. Vin is Ham's commenting that Vin has turned into a proper young lady since he's been gone, and she's saying, hardly, as Kelsier hands her a cup of wine, and then she held it upraised briefly, and then took a sip.
Oh, I'm so glad you caught this too. Hell yeah.
Is this a callback to when they first approached her in Cayman's lair, and she was like looking at the drink and being like, yeah, I don't drink anything that I don't pour type thing, and like, 100%. But this is her overcoming that? Okay.
I think so. I think that's a good call out.
That's cool growth.
Yeah.
Way to go, Vin. Trust.
Way to go, Vin. Trust. You can have friends.
Proud of you. We're proud of you.
Yeah, I'm proud of Vin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. They're talking about Spook a little bit, and Vin's thinking like she's going to have to deal with him sometime. But not tonight, that Kelsier's back, and Ellen's not a murderer, which she's excited about, and so she just wants to relax tonight. Dachshund rolls in, so that's exciting. We got him now, and then shortly after him, we're gonna get Breeze in here. I think something I was excited about here with Ham was when he ripped the sleeves off of his uniform coat to make a vest, which is fun because he's a thug, right? Like I just see him as this like yoked guy who now is walking around sleeveless, but also talking about like right here he's being so like prophetic. Where he's saying like, but what is money? Like everything costs money. What is that?
Yeah, I love it.
So
Breeze is like, oh fuck! Like there goes my quiet time.
Yeah, he's such an oxymoron, right? Like he's
perfect oxymoron. Fun. Yeah. It is good.
So,
I dig it.
So the crew's all back together. They really aren't together here that super long, and they just kind of talk a little bit about kind of their happenings and kind of what they're going to do in the future, but it's not super in-depth, definitely not like it was at the first meeting with not the first meeting, but the meeting with the chalkboard. at Clubs' shop, like up in the attic or whatever. So, but yeah, they run through it pretty quick, and I'll run through it pretty quick. Let's see.
They kind of make fun of Spook for a bit. I really liked the Spook part. I was translating some more.
Tell me about that. Yeah,
nice in the knot on the plane without. Breeze.
I actually.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, when I read this, I literally was like, "Oh, I'll let Christopher talk about this part of the book."
Yeah.
So yeah, you. I'm just gonna hand it over to you.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, the group, they're bantering, and Dachshund walks in, a party, and no one sent for me. Everybody's kind of like laughing, and Dachshund bemoans that Ham is doing this to his outfit because it costs money, and he's the guy who gets the disguises and the costumes and stuff. And so, they're kind of like rolling their eyes at each other, and Kelsier and Dachshund are talking, and then all of a sudden, kind of, when Breeze walks in, he starts to pick on Spook, and he's like, "Spook, drink," just like really rude, direct, and Spook does it right away, and Breeze kind of brags. He's like, I don't even have to barely nudge him with Allomancy, and Spook goes and says. He frowns, nicing the knot on the playing without. And so I was like, all right, I know what he's saying here. It'd be a lot nicer if you, didn't need to do that to me, right? Like, that's kind of what he's saying. And Breeze is like, I have no idea what you said, child. So I'm simply going to pretend it was coherent, then move on. Like, just total dick, just Breeze being a dick. He's like the group's asshole, That's who he is. He's the dick of the group. Or the jerk, or whatever. And so then, there's some other great ones here. But then Kelsier and Dachshund start to speak in the language, like it's almost like a thieves. I don't know. They have like a thieves' cant, which is like a language that thieves would have, where you like couldn't really like understand what they were saying, so they could communicate in front of you, and you would just kind of be overwhelmed. Called thieves' cant, and so. I think it's like from where he's from, it's like the thieves' cant, because he's from the south, I'm pretty sure. And he's like from like a southern region of not in the central dominance. And so, they all start talking together in this dialect, and Breeze is like, feels like just an idiot, and he sits there and he's kind of like upset that everybody's in on it and he's not, and everybody laughs at him as they see him kind of, roll his head. So it's kind of like I get like a vibe of like, oh, this is like Cheers, or like Friends, like the gang's back together. Everybody's kind of goofing and stuff. So, anyways, wasn't not of the wasn't is, and that's the last thing Dachshund says. And Spook was like, yeah, like that didn't. You said words, but they didn't make any sense. So he called him out on it, which was fun. And so, it kind of is another cool moment. I said ever since the beginning when we saw the boy with clubs, I was like, I like this character. And I think he's kind of, he's getting more adventurous. He gave Vin the handkerchief. He's speaking in public with everybody. He's kind of coming out of his shell, too.
And then when they're saying, like, they're talking about what they were saying and what Dachshund said or didn't say, Spook then speaks regular and says, he said something, it just didn't mean anything.
So he's very capable of doing it. He's just, I think, like nervous and like resorts to like what he knows. And if he tries, if he puts his mind to it, he can do it, which is cool. I like that about Spook. Anyways, thanks for the interlude there, Spook.
Yeah, thanks, Spook. I like that Vin here talks about how she feels content. So, they've got this banter. She's with these people. She was excited to be back with them and to see everybody. And she feels content and kind of happy that she's here. And she's reminiscing on the time when she first was here and would just stand outside of the kitchen and kind of look in while everyone talked and ate, and she wouldn't come in, and she's kind of reminiscing back to that time, or maybe not reminiscing, but certainly thinking back to then and how she was completely different, and how pretty much, so much has changed. But despite the fact that she feels different and that this life is a better life than the one she was living before, she's still thinking that she's not completely like them yet. It's basically been 6 months that she's been with them now. And she's saying that she doesn't ever think she could ever be as trusting as Kelsier was, but she understands why he works the way that he does, based on her experiences now. So kind of cool how she's having some kind of change of heart about everything going on in this group and kind of feeling at place and being able to recognize, these kind of where she's at. I think some of the growth that she's had. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
So they're asking her about her ability to gain intelligence at the balls, and so she talks about how House Techiel's vulnerable, and they're gonna have to sell off their keep by the end of the month, and that's one out of the 10 great noble houses in Luthadel that will now be out. So 1 down, 9 to go. So they're pretty excited about that, and anybody that they can get out of the season with city without even have to fight them, they're excited about. And Kelsier's saying here that the nobility have started to kill each other at night, which is about 1 step away from open war. And he thinks that we're going to see a pretty big exodus from Luthadel into the surrounding areas or back to people's home plantations out in the countryside or what be it, because who wants to get assassinated in the middle of the night? Nobody. But I did think it was interesting that, Vin had brought up the balls and like that they're still throwing the balls, and Kelsier says that they're going to do that all the way up until the very end, that house wars are political and they need these balls to have the political component. So to be able to scheme with your allies or scheme with your adversaries and, see each other and talk, and that those are going to kind of continue. So hopefully we'll continue to see Vin go into those and seeing what kind of trouble she's going to stir up at them. And Ham is saying that he's basically, Kelsier wants him to go and reestablish some connections with the Luthadel garrison, who he had some connections with, and so he's going to be able to go and do that. And Vin wants to go with him because she hasn't trained yet with a thug. And Kelsier, I think this is where he faults for certainly himself and his own character, because she's like, I haven't trained with this guy. And he's like, yeah, but you already know how to burn pewter. We've practiced that. And she's like, I know, but
I want to do it with him because he does the best for pewter burners.
Right. And she doesn't even get a chance to explain that. Breeze just comes in and it's like, let her go. She's tired of the balls. And Kelsier's like, yep, go. But, for her, I think she does know that if I go to these experts in their field, it's going to make me the best I can be. Mm-hmm. And while Kelsier is good, I think we're going to see probably Vin surpass him. I think the writing's been on the wall as far as how quickly she's picked up certain abilities so far.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time because she's putting in the effort to get better and to learn from the best and to train with the best.
You're onto something there.
So Kelsier wants to send Breeze up to basically take a turn of being the general of the army. He's pretty incredulous. He's like me, that's not
down.
Yeah, he's not about it. They want Yeadon back in the city so he can kind of finish up some stuff and some recruitment and deal with some of the contacts back in Luthadel. And Breeze is like, oh well, maybe. And then that's it, really. That's it for the meeting. Like I said, it was pretty quick, and then we jump into the next perspective, which it's still Vin, but we're in the next day. We have a fast forward time warp. And thank you for the sound effect. Finn and Ham are going to the Luthadel garrison to see kind of the army, the standing army there. Vince feeling as she's walking, she's back in like ska clothing. She's got ash on her face. She's dirty a little bit. And she's saying that it's pretty easy for her to fall back into this really disguise here. And she's thinking that this is really just a different variation. You know, she can disguise herself as a ska. She can disguise herself as the Lady Valette. And, you know, but who is she? Who is Vin? You know, there's all these characters that she can play, but I think she's still trying to figure out who exactly she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ham is super excited to be back. She's saying that he always seems happy. And
I love it, man.
Yeah, it's cool. He's very this happy-go-lucky. Despite all the deep philosophical questions he hears, he's very happy-go-lucky. And we learn a little bit about him here. He's got a wife and a family. Wife's a seamstress. They live in some unknown town outside of Luthadel. He keeps that super private. He doesn't even tell anybody in their crew where he lives that way.
He's not afraid to keep it private.
Yeah, he's afraid that basically the Lord Ruler, if ever catches him, he's a misting. They're not only going to kill him, but they're going to find his family. Because if he has children, which he does, they're going to want to kill the children because the children could develop, misting powers as well. So,
right.
Trying to hide them away. So, anyway, so Vin does have a little bit of something to say here about, why don't you just not use your allomancy at all? And he's saying it's the money. Whether you're a thug or pewter arms, as they're also called.
Yeah, pewter arms.
By the nobility. Are very highly sought after because, obviously they make good guards, they make good bodyguards, or just good workers. And
stand off 1 on 6
for them.
1 on 6, he says. Half a dozen ordinary men a thug can stand off against, which is pretty nuts.
Oh, crazy. And so, the money basically allows his wife and family to kind of live a better ska life than most. And, she does work still just to keep up appearances, but she just tells everybody that they know it back in their hometown that, Ham is in the Luthadel garrison and that's why he's away all the time.
Right.
He wants to get out of Luthadel. He's hoping to save up enough one day to leave the Central Dominance, and he's saying that there's places here in the Final Empire that people don't necessarily know about, and in places where a man with enough money can live the life of a nobleman. He got that idea from Kelsier, and he's basically trying to attain the dream.
For sure.
And just good parallel to us. We're all just working to retire. I mean,
oh yeah, right. Exactly.
They go saving up that money, and you're just
go somewhere where that we're not so big on the radar. We can just coast, not have to worry.
Yeah.
I like that.
100%.
Vin's that sounds appealing. She kind of gets it. Yeah. I think. One thing I wanted to call out right here that I really liked from a little bit of a world building nugget. Ham's talking about the value, right, of the mistings and the thugs, and he just inserts a little tactical strategy into the conversation because he says, mix a couple of coin shots with 5 or so thugs, and you've got yourself a small mobile army. Men will pay a lot for protection like that. So he does. Sanderson does this world building here, which is really fun, talking about how the nobility is, looking at all the mistings that they can get and using them for their advantage and trying to create different combinations of them to kind of chess pieces almost, to battle each other. So yeah, I just love that. The strategy piece there was exciting. Not something I really clung onto the first time I read it, but I like the idea, right? 2 guys out there shooting coins and blasting people, your ranged component, and then you're meat wall in front of them of thugs that they're not going to get through. It's a cool idea. So
no, yeah, it's good. Thank you, good sir.
Hell yeah.
So Vin asks Ham about Kelsier and asking if he's always hated the nobility, and he says he has, but it's worse now. And she says that she's afraid of him, that like he frightens her, and that in the fact that he wants to kill all of them. And Ham's concerned not only with that, but also the 11th metal and how he's making himself out to be kind of this holy man, or this. He's almost prophesizing himself, Kelsier is, and so he does say that Breeze, Dox, and himself, Ham, have agreed to talk to Kelsier and confront him about this and see if they can kind of rein him in a little bit. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to see when, you read on to 25 how this seems to have maybe backfired, and maybe that talk needed to have happened a little sooner, So, they're approaching the city now, and there's a line of people to get in and get out of the city, and just kind of some world building here about the ska and their decrepit state, and how they have to go out of the city to work, and sometimes they don't get let out, and if they don't get let out, then they don't get paid. And I think the biggest thing is that component of being let out of the city. So the Lord Ruler not only controls who comes in, but he's also controlling who's allowed to leave the city. So very strict restrictions on the movements of the populace. Very oppressive here. Berlin Wall-esque almost,
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Eastern Bloc levels of tragedy and poverty.
Right. So Ham, I don't even know where I got Doxson from. Ham is, he's saying that as they're approaching the garrison here, that he's known to them, that most of the soldiers actually are ska, men who have basically sold out their lives or whatever to the Lord Ruler in exchange for a better life for probably themselves or their family. And he's saying that like they're good men, and that basically they're just working a job essentially. And they, Vin specifically talks about like, you're going to betray them when we fight them. If you're such good friends with these guys, but like we're going to fight them, you're going to betray them. And he's saying like, it's not betrayal. They're mercenaries, they're being paid, and they've been hired to fight, and they're going to fight, and they're going to attack their friends or relatives, whoever they're told to, because this is their job. And like he respects that, and that he's going to fight them just as hard. And like, it's like kill or be killed. So she kind of, Vin thinks that's harsh, but she kind of sees it for what it is, and that life is harsh. And that's one of Rain's teachings that actually wasn't so far off. And now we get into the part where I think Ham is really starting to teach Vin some of the important parts here about pewter and burning pewter and what it's like to be a thug. So he's saying the first most important thing is pewter warming. Pewter arming. And so he's saying that when you need to know when to use the metal. It's not just about flaring it all at once to be as big and strong as you can get. You want to time when you're flaring it or burning it to give yourself a slight edge, because you're going to really tire yourself out if you're just burning it or flaring it the whole time. And you just want to basically give yourself an edge at some of the critical moments to win your fights, instead of just trying to go for the hardest knockout you can go for.
I love this part here. It's so dope. It reminds me of a technique that you do in like martial arts, the 1-inch punch, where all of your energy, all of it all comes out in that last little space.
Right.
It's so, like, to me, it really encapsulates that kind of theory.
That's
of,
cool.
Like, burst and like power from a martial arts perspective. So I really liked that part.
Yeah, no, that's
about the pewter.
That's a cool way to think about that.
Well, and I think, like you said, he's an expert. Like, Vin's going to get stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of that.
he's saying that a man can keep, with enough pewter, can keep fighting at near peak efficiency for hours, but pewter dragging like that takes practice, and you're going to run out of your metals eventually. And when you do, the fatigue could kill you.
He uses the term pewter dragging. Nice. Sorry, that's a great term.
He's saying it's again best to vary your pewter burning, and describing pewter enhancing your physical abilities, but not your innate skills, which I think is super important, and something that he talks about being important because he's seen it firsthand where, you need to, just because you can boost yourself and be strong, if you still lack the technique of being a good fighter, and having those skills, then okay, you're just a strong, lump of coal. You know what I mean? What can you do? Someone's going to come in and, roundhouse kick your ass, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it because you don't know how to block for that. So you have to be practiced at thinking quickly, and it doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're not going to be quicker and, be one step ahead of your opponent, then it's all for naught. So he decides, hey, we're going to go into the garrison. They usually let me spar with them. You watch me, go ahead and, what's he asks her to, burn her, would it be Ka?
Burn bronze.
Or bronze.
Burn bronze to see when he's using the elements. So, kind of track, when I'm bursting versus, just, fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is got to be sick if you think about it. What that would look like as she burns bronze. You just see these flashes on his fists as he just cranks.
It's cool. It is cool.
Big ham guy.
So he's gonna go in and spar, and she's gonna watch and basically learn that way. So they get up to the garrison and they approach. And Ham waves at one of the guards. We got a new name here, Bevedon. And he asks if Certez is around. And he's like, yep, he's here, but there's not going to be any room for sparring today. And so Certez runs up, and Ham's like, hey, what's going on? And they're saying that basically something's going on, and they're just not going to be able to do it. And he's kind of holding back his tongue, the Certez guy. But he does say we could really use a good soldier like you. And Ham's like, okay, there's fighting. And he kind of quiets down, and he whispers to them, hey, there's a rebellion right here in the Central Dominance. We just got word we're on our way out. An army of Ska rebels appeared and attacked the Holstep garrison to the north.
Oh no!
And
what's going on?
Vin's got to chill, and Ham's like, what? What's going on? And last word was that the fortifications at that garrison were holding, but they need reinforcements. And
1,000 men strong.
Well, and the Koloss will never get there in time. There's the Koloss again. We don't know.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, we haven't seen them yet or know what they are, but
they won't get there in time.
They're going to get dispatched.
They're not fast enough to respond to this, which was part of the strategy when they were talking about it. They were like, oh, we want to do it close for this reason. Something weird's going on here.
Yeah, I agree.
The Koloss aren't going to get there in time.
Nope. But the Valtro garrison, they're going to send 5,000 soldiers.
Whoa.
Which is a lot, and that I guess they're saying that this is a very large force of rebels here, and that the Lord Ruler's given them permission, the Luthadel garrison, permission to go help. And so Certez is like, "What about it? Let's do it." And Ham's like, "Oh, I don't know. I think about it." And then he decides, actually, let me go drop off my niece here. I'm going to get some things, and I'll come right back to you. And that's kind of it. And so Vin's thinking in horror that the army's exposed. They're not ready for this fight. This was all supposed to happen quietly, and that they're going to get massacred, and she just doesn't know what happened. And then that rounds it out. 24's in the books, and we're moving right into 25.
I mean, yeah, man, we're on the ledge. They got me. What's happening right now? It's a big steez. All right, great chapter.
Yeah. I think we got a lot
snack.
of good Vin like growth. We're seeing some positive things with her, and then obviously some good info about Pewter and Thug Life. You know what I mean?
Thug Life.
You know what I mean?
Thug Life. Indeed.
So very cool. And then obviously leading into kind of this intense chapter here of 25. So I'll just jump right in the snack. I think it's
snack attack.
I'll just read it because it's really short. No man dies by my hand or command, except that I wish there had been another way. Still, I kill them. Sometimes I wish that I weren't such a cursed realist. And that's it. It's very super short. I don't think it gives us... I mean, in my interpretation, I don't feel like it gives me much. Do you feel like it provides you much here, this snack at 25, like more insights?
Yeah, I think like insights, a little bit of excuses, right? Like sometimes I wish I weren't such a cursed realist, right? Like, so he is making a justification for the sentence before, still I kill them, and I think, I do think there's like maybe some internal struggle at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe, cause I'm assuming this is still in the past, where he's like, he doesn't want to kill these people. He's been around for like a really long time, but he's just trying to, he's just trying to be a realist, which is kind of his, I don't know, scapegoat, if you will, or like, his kind of excuse for his actions.
Right.
So it's a little bit just revealing.
Okay. Well, I'm not, personally, for me, I don't think that I'm quite full from that snack.
The snack didn't fill you up?
No.
Dude, chow.
So I think I'm going to chow down on some entree. And we're gonna move right into it. So chapter 25, Kelsier perspective. We're still at Clubs's. We're at the club.
Ooh,
and
Clubs's club, the tin eyes.
Kelsier's packing up. He's been told about the attack, and so he is getting ready to react. And so he tells Docs to stay basically here at the shop, that it should be safe, that Clubs's tin eyes are on watch, and that if there's trouble, Doc should head for the bolt lair, which I don't think is something that we've heard before. I'm not quite sure what the bolt lair is.
Oh, me neither.
But kind of cool.
Good catch. Yeah, a super secret spot.
They're not worried
it's
about...
a lowercase.
Yeah, it's just
it's like... a lowercase word, too. So maybe bolt lair, think about it. Maybe like it's like a sealed off layer, is like a place to hide, maybe within Clubs' shop or Doc's. Yeah, this shop.
Trapdoor type. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But they can bolt shut behind them and keep them safe.
Okay. This
is secure.
Yeah. Not to an inquisitor. So. So
fart right through it.
Kelsier's not worried about Renault, and thinking that he's going to be fine.
Yep.
Ham.
It was interesting. He's not worried about him.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Hasn't exposed the they don't think they've exposed themselves there. Much like that people would associate it well enough with the resistance.
Okay. Good call.
So Ham is like, "What am I going to do?" And he says, "Hey, go and hang out with the garrison, like you said. That was clever. And we want, and basically I want you as an informant." And he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna turn on those men. Like, if I'm gonna be with them, then I'm gonna be with them." And Kelsier's like, "Well, you better figure out some way to be with them, and then also not attack us. So like, figure it out. Like,
right."
And then Kelsier yells for Sazed. This is interesting. How much speed do you have stored up? So we know Sazed, as a keeper, is storing up his physical abilities. And so speed builds up very slowly. And he's saying that he's got about 2 or 3 hours worth. And Kelsier says, "It's not enough. I'm going to go alone. Docs is in charge until I get back."
We know why he's so low on speed. Still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
To go save Vin, he ran from Felice all the way to the Creedic Shaw.
Yeah.
So yeah,
which is a haul.
Yeah, they're doing it by the Spikeway. They're flying. Practically.
Yeah, that's true. So Vin is here. She's got a pack. She's all ready to go. And, kind of walks out and is like, okay, I'm ready. And Kelsier's like, I don't know. And she's like, nope, I'm coming. Typical Vin. And so
classic.
He just accepts it. Like it's time for her to, she's back essentially, from what happened at Creedic Shaw. And so she gives her some pewter beads, tells her to swallow 5 of them. And,
it's quite a lot.
We're going to be running. And so he tells her he needs to have a ton of water. Get as much water as you can. We're going to be pushing hard. Kelsier's thinking that it's really not going to be enough time to get there, and he's worried about it. But regardless, he's going to go. He's trying to save these people's lives. Basically his army, essentially. And so,
right, as he said before, right?
Oh yeah. So him and Vin are leaving. He tells her to start burning her pewter, and he tells her to flare it. And basically, they rush out. And she does bring up how Ham literally just told her not to flare her pewter and to use it only when she needs it. And he's like, okay, that might be true, but this isn't a time for subtlety. We're hauling ass here. Don't run out of power. And so he says, let's go. So he takes down, and literally it's like Sonic the Hedgehog. He is coming down through the streets of Luthadel. People are kind of jumping out of their way, cursing at them. She's running basically probably faster than she's ever ran before. They do some.
She said she was going to burn all 5 beads in an hour, right?
Yeah, that's a ton.
An incredible amount.
It's a ton. And people are kind of, falling silent as they're watching them, and they've got their Mistborn cloaks, and so she's thinking that the Ska or any noblemen that might be out are basically know to leave them alone because they are Mistborn out on a mission, and they don't want to get involved. And so they get out to the gate, and basically they just hop over the guards, use their own plate armor to push off of and fly over. And once they're on the other side of the gate, they get oriented, and they basically just haul. Kelsier is running even quicker now, and she's kind of just Vin's deciding, because we're now in her perspective, that Kelsier isn't planning on walking or jogging to the caves. They're literally gonna run the entire way there, and that it's a 2-week trip by canal, and so she doesn't know how long it's gonna take. But that they were moving horribly fast, slower than a galloping horse, but a horse can't maintain that kind of gallop for very long. So she's not feeling any fatigue. She's just really relying on the pewter, and they are hauling. She first says oh, this is easier than I thought it would be, and he's like, well, when we'll see how you feel in 16 hours.
Right.
She's got a long night ahead of herself. They kind of fast forward through this part. Kelsier every once in a while throws a coin down, jumps from hilltop to hilltop or something like that, but mostly they're just running. They are on the canalman paths. They pass a couple of camps like that. They, it's night now. They see a couple mist wraiths as they pass by with all the, twisted arms and bodies and heads hanging off as they're part of the skeleton, and they're just keep running and keep running and keep running. She's getting exhausted. She's yearning for rest, is how she puts it. And Kelsier doesn't let up. And then eventually light surprises her. They've been running all night long as the sun begins to rise. They just keep running. And so a little bit of a fast forward again, a little bit of a time warp. And Vin we're still in a Vin perspective, but
She's not doing good.
She's not doing good. She's thinking she's going to die. Like, this is going to kill her.
This is too much.
This is why I've always lived in a city, not on the countryside, because I don't want to run. I hate Kelsier. How long has it been since the sun's risen? Has it been minutes, hours, weeks, or years? And the next thing you know, Kelsier slows to a stop, so much so that she slows herself maladroitly, clumsily, and she almost runs into him. And she's like, no, this isn't right. I have to be running like this. Like, the feeling is so wrong to her because she's been doing it for so long. So just kind of cool. And Kelsier urges her, because she's starting to feel weak, to keep burning her pewter, because if she doesn't, she's going to become unconscious, which obviously that's bad for the expedition and everybody involved. And she starts to get disoriented, and he yells at her to flare her tin, which she does. Tin enhances your senses, and so all of the pain that she's feeling, not only in her feet,
like pulling
but her
out your nose hair while you're driving.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm thinking like take a David Goggins or someone like an ultra marathoner, Cameron Haynes, something like that, and take them after they've done a grueling 100, 200-mile run or something. Right. Take away all of their pain. Yeah. But then, like, right at the end of the race, when they're enduring like the worst of it, like, just give them a quick flash of that, right? Like, and what that would feel like. When you build your way up to it, you are living in it. It's not, but when it's like instantaneous, especially when you weren't experiencing it before, I think it's quite the wake up call, which is as Kelsier intended, I should say. And so she regains her senses and her sanity here. It's basically, she's got the blinding light, the feeling of her legs, the headache. And so she lets that go, and she's awake now, and now she's burning her pewter again. And Kelsier's saying, she's saying, why do we stop? Kelsier says, listen, there's a battle in the distance. And so they found the battle, and they kind of come over the hilltop, and Kelsier sees what's going on. He says it's too late, and that the Valtro garrison has caught up to the not retreating in the sense of like, they lost the routing. The Ska Armory the rebels had done a good job at the whole stop garrison actually, but got caught in their escape plan to go back to the caves by the Valtro garrison. And so Kelsier's trying to basically run out there and help, but they are surrounded, and it's basically a bloodbath, and there's no saving them. Vin sees it very clearly, and then Kelsier goes down there. There's too many of them, and there's nothing that he's gonna be able to do. And so he finally, agrees, kind of shakes himself free and stalks down the hill, and is like, I'm going to do this anyway. And then she reminds him of the things that he had said to her, which is that we're not invincible, remember? And so this is what finally, I think, gets him to realize, what's going on. But Vin, who's very smart and clever, and I think has lots of the ideas of like what they're going to do so far in this book. It's like, let's go to the caves, like there could still be people there. Obviously, this army's going to head there next week. We can still save some people. And so that's what they do. We jump a little bit of a time warp, but also perspective change, to Kelsier. And they are at the caverns. He drops down into the caverns. Vin drops down as well. And he doesn't see anything. He's immediately like, we're too late here. Everyone's dead. He's feeling so much anger as far as what happened and guilt. And when she jumps down there, she's like, nope, right there. And she takes off at a sprint. And Kelsier's like, what is she even, there's nothing there. And then as he follows her, he starts to see a little bit of a light ahead of him. And he's like, how did she see that so far away? Maybe it's because he's older than her and she's got those nice young young eyes. She doesn't.
Yeah.
She's not into her bad vision state, but obviously, I think she's using her powers
better tin eye.
Better, yeah. So they approach someone. They see someone in the distance, and it ends up being Captain Dumo, who
Demu, my dude.
Demu was the one. If everyone remembers, when Kelsier came to the caves a couple of chapters ago. Not chapter 9. We're off that. That diatribe, but a great chapter.
Yeah, right now. For now, we'll be back.
He's the one that fought that Kelsier had fought Bilge in the caves to kind of spur everybody on.
Where he made his weapon stop. He Demu stopped the other guy's sword with his hand, and he's like, "I got superpowers."
Yeah. So he's he recognizes that Kelsier is here, and he's like, "Oh, you came back to us," and Demu says we were wrong, and that they think he thinks since Kelsier's back that something good has happened, and that he's saying that General Eden was acting rashly. That's what they thought, and so they stayed behind to be loyal to Kelsier. But they should have gone with the rest of the army. And Kelsier's just like, that army's dead. Get your men. We're leaving. So another quick time warp. Still Kelsier here. It's nighttime now. And they've bedded down for the night. And there's about 2,000 men left, which means about 7,000 total were killed this morning or afternoon at the battle.
They're going camping. Each man has a bedroll, a weapon, and enough food for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it is dire straits.
Mode. And it's only the young and the old, right? The people in the ska in their prime that were ready for a fight, and
went with Eden.
They went with Eden, and so this is kind of not who you're looking forward in an army. And
no.
We learn here that Eden decided that his army needed a little bit of practice, maybe a morale boost, and some opportunity to test their skills in actual combat. And so he decided, hey, the whole step garrison's nearby. Let's attack that at night. We can certainly win, which they did. But obviously the plan wasn't thought through. And Kelsier
got crushed afterwards.
Sad. Savaged. And Kelsier's thinking this is all his fault, right? He's the one that promised them supernatural aid. He's the one that showed off when Captain Demu was fighting Bilge, and he's the one that kind of inflated everyone's sensibilities and egos, especially Eden. He had made Eden a part of the crew. And he had talked so casually with Eden about all the impossible things that he could do with fighting the Lord Ruler and taking back the kingdom and the final empire. And just, Eden thought this was going to be easy with the confidence that Kelsier had given him. And now he's dead. And Kelsier's feeling pretty shitty about it.
Totally.
So... he's trying to steel himself here. He's trying to kind of overcome these feelings, saying, you knew this was going to be hard. You understood the burden you were taking upon yourself.
Oh yeah, we see Eden's head too.
Yeah, Eden. They Urukai spikes his head on the roadside. Basically, Kelsier's not only are these people dead, but our job is dead, right? Their entire plan hinged on this army being able to come in and basically take care of the garrison and seize the city, and it's no more. And then a familiar friend, I'm gonna tell you, when this happened,
dude, were you stoked?
I was stoked, and as he approached and we get some details about you knew who it was. What's going on, I just knew who it was. A figure appeared from the mist, hobbling in Kelsier's direction. The man was older than any that Kelsier had recruited. And at that moment, I literally put a big star in my book next to this, that this was going to be Menace.
Goodman Menace. Yeah,
Goodman Menace, dude.
I remember like chapter 2, you're like, I wonder what's going on with Goodman Menace. And I was like, we're not going to see him for a while.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Here he is. He's back.
Here he is. Yeah, he's back, man. Yeah, of course he is. Menace is a survivor. I don't know how much you remember about Menace. Big Menace fan.
Yeah,
Tough
Menace.
dude.
So Menace
Tough as
has
nails.
lived through some stuff, and I think he's seen the world in a way that was different from how it is now, because he had some thoughts back in the day when we first met him, and some feelings about, you know, how like things obviously had just changed, and how things used to be and how they are now, and he had kind of resigned himself to his life and the fact that he was going to die soon on that plantation. And then obviously Kelsier came in and stirred the pot and killed Lord Trastane and everybody that worked for him. Burned down the mansion, saved the girl, and then made everybody leave their homes and flee into the mountains. So, or not the mountains, but to the caves. Yeah. Head for the hills, you know.
Yeah, like, good luck. See you later, everybody else.
So, Menace appears here, and you know, Kelsier doesn't recognize him at first, but then Menace kind of eggs him on, and he realizes exactly who he is now, and they have kind of some frank talks about, well, first off, that the preparations and that fact that everybody was ready with so much food and bedrolls and things like that. Kelsier's like, that was your doing. And Menace is like, yeah, obviously he's the most experienced person in this situation. And so he instructed the men in the caves to be ready for this. And so, you know, this is where I think we get some of those tidbits about why Eden had done this. Again, some of the generals had decided it would be a good idea to give some men some practice, and that the whole step garrison would be clever, and Kelsier's like, I mean, not only, okay, great, they've killed this garrison, but the entire plan was to be a surprise. Like, exposing the army this way makes it useless because now they know that it's there. So like, not only was it, you know, everybody got killed and whatever, but like the plan was fraught with everything was, what am I trying to say? Like from the beginning, it was, do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. From the beginning, like the plan was doomed to fail almost.
Doomed to fail. Yeah. Doomed to fail. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what I feel like you're trying to, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. That is what I'm trying to say. You're on it. You're in me. And we're syncing. We're synced up. And you know, this is when Menace kind of reconfirms what Kelsier's thinking here, that these men believed in you. They thought they couldn't fail. And Kelsier sighs, and he's in it, man. He's in his feels right now. And Menace is like, what are we going to do? And Kelsier's like, we're going to split you up, spread you out throughout Luthadel, you know, try to hide you.
I love this part in their conversation here. Yeah, this is good.
He brings up, what happened at the trusting plantation, and he's asked, like, hey, do you remember our conversation? And Kelsier says, I did a bit. You tried to dissuade me from making trouble. And he says, well, it didn't stop you. And Kelsier says, well, that's kind of what I'm good at. And he says, do you resent what I did here? And Menace nodded. So he's saying yes.
Grimly.
But grimly, in a way, I'm thankful for the resentment, and that he had he had thought that his life was over and on the plantation, but now in the caves for these people, for the men he's with, he feels like he has a new purpose, something to wake up for, instead of just waking up to die. You know what I mean? Like, oh
the real Goodman Menace back at it again.
Oh man, revitalized, full of energy. He took his AG1 shot and he's ready to go. You know,
dude. Yeah, exactly. He's back at it again in the white pans. Damn it. Damn it, Menace.
And so, Kelsier's like, even after everything I did to this army, and Menace is like, you didn't do anything to them. Like, were you their motivation? Sure, but like, you didn't make the choice for them. They got themselves killed. And he says, this isn't the first Ska rebellion to get slaughtered, and you've accomplished a lot. You got an army, a big army. You trained them beyond what anyone thought you could, and everything moved more quickly than you thought. You should be proud of yourself." And like Kelsier's like, proud? Like this army was supposed to help overthrow the final empire, and he's like, Menace is like, overthrow? Like he obviously doesn't know the big picture.
He's like, you idiot.
He's like,
yeah.
you can't do something like that. And Kelsier's like, well, of course I can. Like, why would I get an army like this? And Menace is just like, to resist, to fight. That's why those lads came here. Like, it's the thought of doing something rather than just sitting around.
Right.
And Kelsier's like, oh, you expected us to lose from the beginning? And he's like, what other end was there? It basically wraps up here, but he does say to Kelsier, like, know when to quit. You've done well, better than you could have ever expected. The Ska of yours killed an entire garrison's worth of soldiers. This is a great victory for the Ska, a bigger victory than we have known in decades, perhaps even centuries. It's time to walk away.
That's sad. Like, all those men died, and like you're just like, you're gonna take it as a win. Like, well, we scratched them. Like, fuck.
Little thorn in their side.
Yeah. I mean, that's how beat down the psyche is, right?
Well,
sorry.
Yeah.
That's
and that's how
it's intense.
And that's what Kelsier says, right? You're exactly right. That, like, this wasn't a victory. Like, how can we think this way? Like, this is the problem with the Ska and the conditioning that the Lord Rulers put these people through, that, they would label the deaths of 5,000 men as I misspoke earlier. I said 7,000. 5,000 men as a great victory. And Kelsier's like, I'll show you a victory. And he smiles, not out of pleasure, but out of, the fact that he could smile, right? Like, that he's proven to the Lord Ruler and to himself that, like, he wants it being like, you can kill my army, you can foil my plans, but I'm still here smiling. I'm coming after you.
And I love that, dude. I love that. And this is how it ends, right? Like, yeah, he wasn't going to walk away. He wasn't finished yet. Not by far. So he's smiling. And what is because we're here with Goodman Menace, what is our first scene Kelsier enter? Ska working in the fields and trusting being a fucking loser and talking shit to the obligators, and Kelsier looks up at him and he fucking smiles, and it unnerves the dude, right? He loses it, beat the men, blah blah blah. He's just such a weenie, and like, man, he's smiling here, even though he's defeated. He's like, fuck you, I'm gonna smile. And I love that. Like, yeah, Kelsier. Yeah. He's a hard guy to like sometimes. He's a little bit questionable.
Yeah.
Like he
arrogance, showboaty.
Yeah. But I like that. I like his commitment too. To like a couple sentences, but he fought against 1,000 years of conditioning, 1,000 years of a life in a society that would label the deaths of 5,000 men as a great victory. Life was so hopeless for the Ska that they'd been reduced to finding comfort in expected defeats. Like, he's just like, fuck that, dude. That is not right. And he's willing to risk it all. 5,000 soldiers' lives, and in how much more, everything on the line. Vin almost died already, and Mare's gone, and everything before, whether or not that's connected to now, he's lost so much. He's willing to risk it all to really take this guy down now after everything.
Yeah.
Or to take down what he stands for. So, end of part 3.
And that's it, guys. That's chapter 25. End of chapter 25 leads to the end of part 3. And that means next time you're going to catch us with part 4, which is called Dancers in a Sea of Mist.
Whoa. I love it.
It's great. I think it's a good spot. I think obviously for a break in the parts here. Pretty big climax with hey, your entire plan's ruined and all these people are dead. You guys were on top of the world, right? Like you just got done celebrating everyone being back together.
Yeah, right. It was
sitting together, like
ago.
we're drinking wine and making fun of Spook, and we're all just having a good time, and like
everybody's growing and like being,
feeling comfortable around each other.
Yeah.
And oh hey guys, sorry. Did you get comfortable?
Did you forget to expect defeat?
Yeah. So, I'm super excited to continue and to see where this is going to go and how he's going to come, like how the group's going to come back from this and what their plan will be. So, exciting times ahead for sure.
A lot of questions. Yeah, I don't know. What are like any theories or any major thoughts? Like, what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really can't. Like, I don't know how they'll pivot. Obviously the plan before was to attack the ATM mines, the pits of Hathsin. Get the Lord Ruler all in a tizzy, and draw him out, send him outside of the city. By the time they get there, the armies in the city taking down the garrison. The nobility's already fought each other and kind of won that battle for them. Sneak into the ministry, get all of the ATM they can, and then obviously Kelsier's plan with the 11th medal to kill the Lord Ruler somehow. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they'll pivot from this one. I think some changes of the plan are certainly on the docket, but how that will shape up, I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah. Well, good. Keep it in mind. Yeah, I got my theories. I got my theories as well. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to see you explore it on the way. And for all of us to find out together, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So. Wanted to call out. Yeah, I just loved. For this chapter specifically, I love the pewter dragging. I always I don't know why. Like a mental image I got was just like almost as if like their shadow is like digging into the ground behind them. They're like just pushing their bodies to this like extra limit, and but it's something that's connected to them, and so it'll kind of like how the like different obviously magic system, but kind of like how the ferrochemist, right, like has to store up their speed. This like has a different cost, whereas for like at least how we've seen Furukumi work is kind of like this give and take. Here it's like they got this combustible component where they're burning all of it, and it's gonna take its toll on their bodies. Which we see with Vin, and even Kelsier describes how much it pushed him, to go that far to do all that. So yeah, I liked seeing them push it to the limit. I mean, making it that far. What was it 6 days by horse?
Limit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Well, 20, no, it was 20, I think 12, was it 12 days or 20 days by canal boat?
Yeah, okay, but that was those guys pulling the boats. So yeah, that's wild. What a speed.
So Vin has so she's trained with Breeze, who uses brass. He's a soother.
Yeah, waste of brass, he said once.
Yeah.
It's an insult to someone. Yeah, soother. Trained with a soother.
She trained with Marsh, who is a seeker.
Correct.
He reveals allomancy with his bronze. And now she's trained with Ham, who is a thug, pewter arm. Enhance his physical abilities. The person on the crew that she has not trained with yet is Clubs, who's a smoker, which hides your allomancy for the copper there. And I'm trying to think if there's anybody else in the group, any other Mistings that she would need to train with. At this time, I don't think so.
There is another one, but I'm gonna check here. I think it was like brought up once, like in a slight passage. But yeah, I think it's just clubs that she hasn't trained with for like the main crew members. That's definitely for sure the truth. But yeah, we know that like she hasn't trained with. I mean, there's like that's not that many medals. There's like plenty more.
Oh, there's plenty more, but
types.
they just don't have them in the crew, you know.
Right. Well, and like Clubs has Tin Eyes with him.
That's
like
true.
He has Tin Eyes. Like they said, like Clubs has 3 Tin Eyes in the shop. So I think we for sure know that like they're around.
Right. That's a good point. With the tin eyes, just so people remember, tin enhances your senses. So when Kelsier is leaving Clubs, when they were leaving Clubs' shop to go to the caves or the army just now, and there were the 3 tin eyes with Clubs, they were basically on the lookout, probably stationed around the clubhouse, listening for anybody, you know, coming to infiltrate.
Exactly. Yeah, because like the smoker is keeping them kind of safe, but the Tin Eyes are seeing threats that are coming. So yeah, those are like the main crew members that we know that have taught
Vin, yeah. So we're missing lurchers, coin shots, tin eyes technically.
No coin shots on the crew.
And no riders.
Kind of fits the job for like he fills in the gaps really of all those other ones, and then Vin, you know, like both of them kind of hold those roles down.
So all this just to say, I just wonder if we're gonna see Vin get put with crusty old Clubs to learn
about
smoking, you know. So, which like it's just fun in the group of anyone that I could see smoking. Like, it would be the crusty old guy, like standing there, like grumbling, smoking a cigarette. You know what I mean? Like, so the fact that he's a smoker and hides it, like, it's just kind of fun.
Right, it is fun. I totally agree. Yeah, in chapter 5, they mentioned Mare as a tin eye. Found it. Whew. All right. Yeah, no, I think it is. I think it's interesting, and we'll see where she can learn more from whom. And yeah, you know, what outstanding questions are kind of in the front of your mind for our listeners to, you know, maybe remind themselves. Good questions.
You're asking, you're saying?
Yeah, outstanding threads. Like I have a couple that come to my mind, but like outstanding threads that you have been trying to keep track of. Like you caught the Colas again. I thought that was sweet. You were like, "What's this Colas stuff?" You know, I think it's gonna be a while before we learn more about it, but I do appreciate the mentions early on because it's a concept I like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Question wise, I'm really just excited to continue and to read, you know.
I just want to read more, dude.
I just want to read more. Like, stop slowing me down, man. You're bringing me down, killing the vibe.
Bringing me down, man. You're killing the vibe. Yeah, that's super fair. Well, I hear I'm stacking with
you. You're not killing my vibe. Just so we're clear.
But you know, I'm smelling what you're stepping in. You know, some of the things that I'm like keeping track of as you know, as we've been going on, some great questions you brought up in the past that like I'm looking out for. You know, like Lord Renew, what's going on there? Kind of like still don't really have like a ton. We're getting like more pieces of the breadcrumb trail, but still don't really know what's going on with him. Haven't seen Marsh in a while. Wondering how he's doing, especially with like everything going on here. Like, what's up with Marsh? You know, right now that's a good question. Then I have other ones.
Well, Ellen, right? Of course.
Ellen. Yeah, right. And Ellen and Shan and like what's going on in the court world. Like I think we're really starting to get a feel for it in this part 3, where Vin's like becoming more of a part of it and getting invited, to these different circles. So kind of seeing like what that's like and what's going to happen with Vin's ability to like go to those things now after all this had happened. Kind of like what's going to change there, if anything does. And
any more meetings between Kelsier and Straff when Kelsier pretended to be an informant, street urchin, Yeah,
a Hoyd.
Yeah, a Hoyd.
Yeah.
So.
Hoyd. It's I think that'd be interesting to see kind of like what's going on with the great houses and like the juicy, gossip between the war that's kind of brewing where people are just killing each other. Like, did Kelsier kill that one guy as a revenge, or did it just kind of like happen naturally from all the chaos that he's ensuing? We don't really know. He's definitely killing people. I'm sure he's not going to be happy about this. I'm sure he's going to, get the let out. So, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
me as well.
Thanks for following us down the kernels here, folks.
Yeah.
Just
wrapping up part 3. It's exciting.
Wrapping it up.
What, 2 more parts, I think, and then we're out?
2 more parts, then we're out. Yeah. I think it's a good time. Probably call it out. Shout-outs. Hey.
Shout-outs. Hey, Mom.
Moms, thanks, Mom.
Joey B.
Thanks for... Joey B? Oh, dude, really? Nice.
Thanks, Joey B.
Joey B.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for the feedback.
Blake is up to date.
Dang.
Yeah, he caught up. So, hey, Blake. Thanks, bud. You can see where we're at in our recording schedule now.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
You can figure that out. Thanks, dads. Thanks, wives. Thanks, dogs. I got dogs. Kyle doesn't have a dog, but thanks, dogs. If Kyle gets a dog, thanks to that dog too. The future dog.
Future dog.
I'm just willing it into existence. Yeah, my dog. But got some good stuff up ahead. Hope everybody's enjoying the content. Love to thank our sponsors that we don't have. We don't have sponsors. I like to remind everybody. We like to thank them because we'd like them to sponsor us. So, why not? You get more bees.
Stone again. Stone Pilsner.
Stone Pilsner. Yeah,
I think you've asked them on every podcast that we've...
Yeah, I'm consistent.
Like a lot. You are consistent.
They sell it at Costco. So, I buy it there. Thanks, Stone. I appreciate you. I'll buy it somewhere else, especially if you sponsor us. Be a lot cooler if you did. Thanks to Magic the Gathering and Kyle. Playing Magic the Gathering with Kyle, super fun. Now everybody knows. Well, I guess we can cut this part out.
Rolling.
Deep cuts, rolling. All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks for staying misty with us. We are your boys. And
Misty.
Just remember if you missed your boys, then you just got to get on and listen to the Misty Boys.
Oh, yeah. If you miss your boys, get on and listen to the Misty Boys. That's right. Yeah, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Go ahead and drop a share, out there in the world. Share it with a stranger. You'll never know what kind of world hoppers you might find out there.
Send us an email.
Comments. Ooh, yeah, comments.
And if you know us, text us or call us. If you don't know us, please don't do that. That'd be very creepy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's scary.
Because you shouldn't know who we are.
If you know us. Yeah, no, but if you do, take it easy. So, anyways, that's what we got to say about that. But if you know us, you should text us.
Yeah, text us, call us, tell us what you think, and we love you guys.
Now we know if you're really listening. Wait, we didn't. We haven't shouted out because we should. Casey, shout out to Casey.
Shout out Casey.
If you made it this far, shout out.
Shout out. I don't know if it's just Casey. I think it might be MA as well.
I dig it.
I thought they were both doing it, but maybe it's just Casey.
Oh, well then, dude. Casey and MA all day. Let's go. Shout out. Double shout out.
Crazy.
Yeah. I love it.
Cool. Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
Part 3 is wrapped up in the books, and on to part 4.
Dancers in the Mist. Ready to dance in the mist with y'all. We're the Misty Boys. So I suck at dancing, but let's go hang out
Dancing in the mist light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this has gone on too long.
Oh my God, no. No, it's not. You're going to keep going.
We can't do it.
Oh,
They're not going to like it.
Gotta stop. They're not going to like it. They're not going to like it.
They're going to stop.
They're not going to like it. They're not going to like it. They're not going to like it.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye. End recording.